Well, glory be and mercy me, we've done it yet again. Here we are today on our walk around the graveyard. Bit windy today, bit cold today, so sorry if the audio goes a little... But, you know, we're all living through the things we need to live through. Today we're talking about Doug Ford and his re-election. If the election were held today, it looks like Doug Ford's going into a majority. I could spend my whole video talking about the con man grifter that Doug Ford is, but I think the people who are probably clicking on a video like this and listening to it agree with that. And the people who don't agree with it aren't going to be convinced. We live in a post-truth society. Facts don't matter anymore. Evidence doesn't matter anymore. Nothing of the sort matters any longer. The only thing that matters any longer is how people feel. People's feelings are all that matters. The far right and the right wing, even the centrists and the liberals, no longer care about the facts. They care about how they feel. They care about their gut. They care about what's going on in their nether regions, right? Exclusively. And if the facts countervail their feelings, well, then they'll just ignore them, right? Or pretend they don't exist or anything like this. You can see this play out in big and serious ways in the Ukraine conflict, right? In the climate change conflict, across the board. What this means is that this election has been an election about narratives exclusively. And the Liberals, the NDP, and to a degree the Greens seem to have missed the boat on actually finding a way to get people to feel a different narrative, right? Feel something genuine and real. You know, ideas like compassion, empathy, these sorts of ideas have not been galvanized by the NDP or the Liberals or the Greens. They haven't been able to counter the narrative that Doug Ford has successfully used to con a public into voting against their own interests and the interests of their province and the interests of their nation. This narrative is very simple conservative schlock, right? You got where you are exclusively by your own hard work, right? Forget about your teachers, forget about your inheritance, forget about your parents, forget about all of the people around you who have actually helped you through your life, right? Those people don't matter, right? Forget about that time you were sick and a doctor helped you. Forget about any of that. The only thing that has had any impact on your life at all is your own hard work, right? That's the only thing that matters. Why? And that's it. Like, get a job, work harder, right? Doug Ford is so committed to this idea that people just need to get a job in the society that he'll say it to disabled people, right? People who by their very definition cannot work, well, they just need to get a job, right? That's how dedicated he is to this narrative. We're starting to get rained on a little bit here. And what this is an appeal to the arrogance and the self-inflation of the ego of the listener. Like, yeah, I got where I am because of my hard work and you just need to work harder. So forget about the fact that Doug Ford has done cuts across the board, right? Making it impossible for huge swaths of the society to go to school, to get trained, to get educated, to actually get that job, to actually do better, right? To actually get any of that. Forget about that. What Doug Ford is doing very clearly is drawing a line in the sand and saying prosperity should go to the rich, this half of the society, and it should be excluded from this half of the society, while telling the people who are making it on to the side of prosperity, right, who are not actively excluded from the project of prosperity, they're telling them that, oh, you got here not because of me drawing a line and shoving people in directions, right? Not because of larger forces, systemic forces, but because you worked hard, right? I know people. We all know people who are hardworking people who are doing their best and are failing, right? This arrogant, self-inflating idea that the reason why people are failing is because they're inferior, it just comes straight out of the white supremacist nature of our society. That once you believe in the idea of supremacy, then you can just sniff and say, oh yeah, those people are failing and it's their own fault, right? Forget about the huge swaths of government projects. Forget about the huge impact that cutting these programs has on people's lives. And just like the classic hucksters in literature, right? And you don't even need to go that deep. You could take a look at the monorail episode of The Simpsons, right? Like, literally, the public has become enamored with this absolute buffoonish rube who is obviously lying and obviously grifting them to literally build like a monorail style project like the 413 highway, right? Just a complete and total grift that totally exists exclusively to enrich a small group of investors while being not that useful to the people who will actually drive on the thing. Of course, building highways amidst a climate change crisis, but Doug Ford's a climate change denier anyway, so who cares, right? Right? Forget about the green economy, forget about all the jobs that would create. No, don't need to do that. Cut 700 programs, totally fine, right? Totally fine. And what happens at the end of the story, right, is that the people who have gone along with the grifter, the con man, right, they don't realize it until the con man is running out the door with sacks of money. That's literally how this works. That once the con man has gotten what he wants, and you can see this happen in the Mike Harris administration, right? Mike Harris privatized a bunch of long-term care homes, right? Plunged a lot of elderly people into desperation, plunged a lot of elderly people into a complete horrible situation. But he sits on the board of directors for those companies. So he's making profits off of the suffering of your family. Same grift, same idea. And so the question becomes, why do we keep going for it? Why do we keep allowing it? Why do we keep permitting it? And it just shows you how fragile we in this society actually are emotionally. That we don't deal with our emotions. We don't talk about our emotions. We don't actually address our emotions in big and serious ways. And we have allowed our emotional selves to fall for this trap of, oh, we've all been thrown into a pool and are drowning, and so you just gotta swim harder, is quite literally the narrative. And those who drown are, oh, well, they just needed to swim harder, so we can just move on from that, right? No question whatsoever of, wait, why are there people drowning in the pool? No question whatsoever of, oh, hey, wait a minute. Why are we allowing people to even be in a pool where they can drown in the first place? Why is this a permissible thing that we're abandoning people at all? No, no, no. If you say those things, right? If you say those things, you're a communist, and that's how it works, right? If you ask very basic questions about the system you live in, suddenly you're a communist. Hey, shouldn't people have access to food and shelter? Communist. Oh, okay, right? This is the stupidity of the society we live in, and it's gonna take another 4 years for people to put together that this is a con job, that Doug Ford is actively destroying the province so that he can put money into his own pockets. If it wasn't for the COVID-19 crisis, I think people would be far more aware of the reality of this, because the truth is that the only good thing Doug Ford did during his time as premier was during the COVID-19 crisis, he said, oh, I better listen to the experts. It's the only time he did. It's the only benefit he actually gave to the populace. And so there is like the small hope that maybe someone will listen and actually go, wait a minute, yeah, we are being conned. We are being grifted. Like, I don't know what you need to see at this point, right? Like, emissions are gone up 400% under Ford. Like, the destruction of the green economy under Ford is going to resound for decades. Literally destroying 700 programs. Like, if you care about jobs, if that's your thing, Ford's the worst for this. He's absolutely an abomination. Well, he's not bringing in new green tech energy jobs or any of this kind of nonsense. Like, he's installing boilers, right? He's filling potholes with asphalt. Like, these are the make work project jobs that Doug Ford is bringing to Ontario, right? These really high quality bullshit things. But we're just suckers for it. That's all. We're just suckers for it. And I just wish we weren't. All right, guys, this is the end of this one. Like, share, subscribe. I've got a live stream 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come on in. We have to begin organizing along leftist lines, right? Like, we have to actually support leftist voices. I've got a Patreon down below, right? We actually have to begin the process of fighting back legitimately against this absurdism. And that's all it is. Like, we're a society that's buying into con men, and they're obvious con men. Like, it's a complete grift, and I don't understand how we can't see through it. No, I should be clear. I understand why we don't see through it, because if you own a house, and if you're a hereditary millionaire, right, if you just sit around and you're an investor and you're not worthwhile or anything like this, yeah, you absolutely want to be part of that grift, right? It's like Bitcoin. It collapsed, and it's going to continue collapsing. So will this. But I guess we just have to put the fork in the light socket. Even as people are saying you're going to get shocked, we just got to put the fork in the light socket. All right, guys. Always remember, you are a quantum being walking around in quantum energy. The billionaire class is spending hundreds of billions of dollars in the vain hope that you'll just continue being the good little commodity that they need you to be. Rebel. Revolt. Repent. Good luck. We're going to need it.